See, I've got a system that works. Let's try it with you watching on. So 2 9s. 2 8s. Separate first. I'll take off the This is why it's best to do this over a table, because if you drop it, you've got to find it again. Since I'm in a wooden shed with a wooden floor, okay, it's a different colour of wood, but it is still quite difficult to see it. It wouldn't be the first time I've been down on my hands and knees with a light trying to find a piece that's fell on the floor. That's part of the fun of modelling. Right, got them all cleaned up. Let's see if I can stick some together. I started with a piece of 9. Tiny blob of super glue. Just hold it together. It takes about 20 seconds to set off. Not set, but enough to let it go. And still not set enough that you can still move it. Isn't it typical? I've been doing this now, I've done 3 as you can see, and the first time I do one on camera, it falls apart. So we'll try again. Obviously just these last 2 junctions didn't stick enough. You've got to try not to swamp it with super glue. It's got to stick enough to just hold together till we get the last piece in position. Right. Of course now it's going to stick to my hand. This is what we call Murphy's Law. And there you have one little Canon frame, Canon port frame. I won't be trying to use them on the model just yet, but I just thought you'd like to see how they're put together. Okay, I'm going to carry on and make a whole load of these, and then I'll come back to you. I hadn't realised till I looked at the video just now that you couldn't really see what I was doing, so I thought, well, I'll do another one or two. Hopefully I can keep them in the frame of the camera this time. We'll see. So we want a pair of 8 and a pair of 9. Very difficult to keep the camera on what I'm doing and watch at the same time. I can assure you I'm not watching the video. You often wonder if it's better to rub these little screws off now while the parts are so small, or join the bits together and then take them off. But I think there's pros and cons to both. Okay, let's try and put one together. This is the big problem with this, is if you don't have to take a little bit off the end. You see the glue come down the tube now. But it is annoying sometimes. And there we are. One gun port frame. Just like that. What I tried to film earlier and failed miserably. Okay? Only got another, about another 27 to make. Okay. I think that might be it video wise for this week. I'm going to carry on and make these, so by the time you come back, hopefully I'll be trying to install these on the ship. Okay guys, I'm going to carry on I'll see you on the next one. Welcome back. Okay, first thing I've got to do is clean all these little, what do you call them, gunport frames. It's only a case of taking all the scorch marks, burn marks, whatever you want to call them. It's what's left behind after the laser cut. You don't want to take too much off because you still want to maintain the thickness of the gunport. You'll see why shortly. The inside is going to be hidden, but the outside needs to be clean. So at least one side has to be free of any scorch marks. It's amazing. You think, oh, they're not going to take much rubbing. There you go. The fun part is going to be they go a long way at the bottom. And then they're going to be fitted to the ship. Okay, let me clean all these up. I'll come back to you for the next phase. Okay, guys, I've marked out on all these gunports that I cut out yesterday the new sizes that have to be cut out. You can see it on every single one. There's about a millimeter on each side has to be taken off. I decided to do them from the centers, so I measured each one. The little formers have to be, these are 1.2 centimeters. Let's see if we can get it right. Yeah. They're 1.2 centimeters long and 1 centimeter high, which the 1 centimeter high is not a big problem in here because it's two boards, and 2 or 3 of these are actually right on the strike. In fact, the strike will have to be cut to fit around the gunport eventually. But basically work out the center of the hole that you've got. It's dead easy, just measure it. Put your ruler in the center and mark out 0.6 on each side on the horizontal and 0.5 on each side on the vertical. Okay, I've got a little bit of cutting to do, so I shall do this and I'll come back to you when I've got it done. Can you spot the one that's been done? There it is. You're going to do these individually with the holders. Although they're 1.2 by 1, don't cut right to the line. Once they're in, it looks quite good with a 1 millimeter recess. But do each one individually to the holder that you're going to put in that hole. Otherwise, you're going to end up with big gaps around about the sides, which you don't really want. A nice, clean, smooth fit is what you're looking for. Okay, I'll carry on. I'll come back to you when I've got some more done. Okay, guys, this is quite hard going. It's going to take a while. You can see these front ones are done. Front 4. Yeah. That here. I did a couple in the middle to start off with. But yeah, those 6 took me about 2.5 hours to do. I'm not rushing it. I want the holes to be nice and shaped to the frames. Make sure I get the frames all the same way around. These front 2 had to be shaped to match the line of the ship. The rest are all going in fairly straight. It's just tedious work. You pick a frame down here, pick one out, say right, that's going to be the next one. I hold it up against the ship, see where I have to put it compared to the marks, and that tells me how much to cut out, and I just do it very gently. Cut out, try it, cut it out, try it, file it, make it nice and clean, put it in, stick it. Going to do that with all 34. And this is just one row. This is going to have to be done with all the others as well. So yeah, it's a long job. There's not much I can do filming wise. If I try to film it, I'm just going to end up getting faster, putting the video on fast play. I don't think that's much fun, but I'm sure we've got some more fun parts coming up soon. This probably going to take the best part of the day to do these 34 holes. But I did say way back at the beginning, this was a long project. So you just have to bear with me. Okay, I'll get on with the next bit and I'll come back to you. That's another 2 hours work, and that's me got, let's see, 12 done. So 12 has taken about 4 hours. So that's about 3 an hour. It looks good though. It does line the ports quite well. I just hope I'm putting them in the right place. But when we come to put the running strakes in, we'll see how well it is. I know I have to trim the running strakes to fit around the portholes, but we'll see how that goes when we get to it. Okay, I'm done for the day. I know it's not very long on the video, but that's I've been in here about 6 hours altogether. I need a break now. See you tomorrow. Well, here we are again. You can see I've started along the port side. I've got another, I think, 12 to do. So what I thought I'd do is show you how I've been doing these in a little bit more detail. I do it on my lap because I find it less stressful on my back. But okay, let me set up and I'll see if I can film it. Okay, we'll give this a try. I have no idea if it will work or not. But you can see that what I've done, I measured the frame. It's 1.2 centimeters wide and exactly 1 centimeter high. So on the around the hole, I'm from the center. I use my rule, found the center of the hole, and marked out 1.1 centimeters either side. We know that these planks are 0.5 of a centimeter each, and it just works out along here that they're right on the lines. So I marked it with a pencil. Now I like to have these cut very fine. So what I do is I place the frame that I'm going to use in the center of the marks and look to see where the edge of the frame is. And in this case, it's just inside the pencil line on each side. So keep that one separate from the rest. And then, well, if I don't talk, it's because I'm concentrating. Inside the line. The problem is if you try to cut on the lines between the planks, it's where the glue is. So basically you cut through the glue. You can see it pops out quite easy. It's the vertical that's the hard part to cut through. I was thinking to myself, I said, it's a good job I've got some experience in modelling, because I don't think a beginner would know what to do with this. And if you're doing this, can I give you some advice? Always keep your hands behind the blade. Don't ever get your hand in front of the blade like that, because if that slips, it's into your finger. And believe you me, it hurts. And there speaks the voice of experience. I shouldn't need to add that I use a very sharp blade for this job. Let's see how the frame fits. Yeah, it's going to need to be taken up to the line up here. You notice I haven't filed in yet. That's going to come in a second. And you see on there that it's a good dimension that way, but it needs a touch more. You see where the pencil line is, just above it. But I think I can take that. And just tidy up in this direction a little bit. Feels good. What I did is, remember, if you think back, I marked the 89s. I just put a 9 on them, and in every case I've made them so that the 9s, so they sit this way around, not that way around. So does make a difference. And you can see now it's just fitting in that box. So then I take my sandpaper and to clean it up. And then I just give it a slight rub on the edges. This is just to help the glue to stick it in. And you can see that's a nice close fit in the hole. Now it's got to go in by 1 millimeter, not centimeter. I did make that mistake on my previous video. Now, when you've done a few, you get to know what 1 millimeter is. It's not a great dimension, but I'll prove it to you. One millimeter. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a millimeter in. It just pushed in a touch more. Yep, that's a millimeter. So that's it in position. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see inside as I do this. And that's another one done. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. What's that now? 11 more times. And then I'll come back to you. Okay guys, that's another 2 hours of whittling and filing and shaping, and they're all done. That's all the port side done there. So the next stage is to line the insides. I'm going to have a little break and I'll come back to you in about, well, for you it'll be a few seconds, for me it'll be about an hour. See you then. Well, the next stage is to line these areas here. They get 4 depths of what's labelled as WS4, which is, let me see, 1 by 5. So it's 1 mil thick by 5. There are four strips up here. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the distance between, first of all, the difference between here. Try and get my vernier in a place where I can use it. Right, that's it. Side to side. I don't care what the measurement is. I'll lock it off. And that's the length of the piece of wood I'll be cutting for the centre section. All I've got to do is find the wood. 1 by 5. Oh, and just like that, it appears to me. The great thing with this kit is all the stacks of wood are labelled. Okay, 1 by 5. Let's get a couple of pieces out because we're going to need them. I'll need one to start with, but find my cutting block. Here it is. Take a piece of wood. The vernier is all it's got. I don't know if you're used to using these measuring devices. This distance is exactly the same as this distance here. These are external, these are internals. So it makes no difference whether it's, sorry, you can see it now. These are the internals, these are the externals. In other words, if you're measuring on the outside of something, use that side. If you measure on the inside, you use those ones. And you can see they fit just neatly in there. It makes no difference whether I use the internals or the externals to mark the distance. So cut on the outside of that line, and it should be spot on the nose. Let me put this down somewhere where it won't get this out. I may have to just sand that very slightly to fit. No, it's right on the nose. Okay, and this goes all the way in until it touches that frame that I just made, like that, and that's where it will go. That's where it will be stuck, right up against the frame. So, put your glue on the bottom of the frame. Yeah. The next one's going to need a notch taken out up near the top, but let's get the length first. Do the same thing again. Now what I need to do is make a second measurement. I have to do it this way. Now we can get the vernier in. This little screw locks the vernier in place, so I don't accidentally move it. And you can see how much has to be taken off. Take it off evenly. and it's not a great deal that has to come out. It's only probably measure it. Yeah, it's about 1mm to be taken out. So it's just a little titchy notch. I keep getting my centimetres, my millimetres mixed up. Did I say a centimetre? I meant a millimetre. If I said a millimetre, then that's what I meant. Another little tip when you're taking notches out, cut across the grain first. If you cut with the grain, you end up with a big split. See if that's going to fit. Maybe a touch more. There we are, that fits in nicely in there, like that, on top of the other one. It will be on top of the other one by the time I finish. You can see this is going to be quite a long job. This one likes to spring in, so as I say, it's going to be quite a long job to get all this done. But then if it wasn't a long job, I wouldn't be doing it. This what makes it part of it the fun. This one doesn't want to sit in there at all. Right the other way around. This way. like that. That's going to go. Push down on these frames. There we go. That's where it will sit. Now I need to glue it on the bottom part and on the frame, because later on we're going to cut out the middle. What will be the middle of this piece, because it is a gun port. This has to be well glued in, ends and middle. Right. Make sure it lies down and it's flat against itself. You have to pay more attention to this than you do to planking the outside, because this is going to be seen. This just gets a coat of paint afterwards. Okay, now that I've adjusted my vernier to the inside dimensions, as you can see, I'm using my sanding block to prop up my ship at the moment. That's only laziness. I don't want to get the stand out of the stage because it'll put it higher. And from my chair, it's already quite a stretch. Obviously the next one, and the last one, will be to the smaller dimension. I should have said on the vernier, this is your internal measurement, that's your external measurement, all the same. You also have a depth measurement here, which you can also use to check the length, and you can see it fits perfectly. Of course, the hole has got a slight bend to it, not much, but enough to. There we go, and that'll sit in there like that. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, I have to tell you, it's getting very cold out here. I don't know what the external temperature is, but there you can see I've done the front three, what would you call them? Openings, gaps, whatever. But I'm getting too cold. The glue is really struggling to set in this cold. I've got a heater on back here, but I think it's down near 0 degrees outside, and it is a non-insulated shed I'm working in. So I need to warm up. The camera needs to warm up. my glue needs to warm up, so I'm going to call it a day. I'll come back to it tomorrow. For you, a few seconds. For me, overnight. See you then. So here we have all of the port and starboard sides done. See it there. That's the port side. Starboard side. I'm going to have to let the cyano cure for at least a day before I try to cut out the gun ports. There's no way I can cut gun ports out when I don't know the glue's cured. The cold here is what's stopping me. I've managed to get the temperature up a few degrees in here, but it needs to come up a bit more. Okay guys, I'll try and wrap this up, send this out as this week's video. If you like what you're watching, and you haven't already done so, why don't you consider subscribing and follow me along on this journey. See you on the next one.